The Newton-Brookline Elks and City of Newton held their annual Flag Day observance on June 14th. The ceremony included the history of the United States of American flag. Grace Hone has the story.
The Newton-Brookline Lodge of Elks hosted its annual Flag Day observance at Newton City Hall. The ceremony highlighted the Elk members and their appreciation for the American flag and its significance. Mayor Ruth Ann Fuller opened the event, honoring veterans and the Pledge of Allegiance.
At Gettysburg in 1863, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave their last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from the earth.
Past exalted ruler of the Newton-Brookline Lodge of Elks, number 1327, Darlene McDonald, shared the significance of Flag Day with us.
Flag Day, as it gets more and more prevalent every year, represents democracy for me, and all the men and women that serve for us. So Flag Day, that is represented that way personally, but for the elkdom, it represents so much more of men and women that have served.
Darlene McDonald took the podium and covered the in-depth history of the American flag.
The carrying of banners has been a custom among all people in all ages. These banners usually contain some concept of life or government of those who fashion them. The evolution of the American flag marks the progression of the government of the American people. From the founding of Jamestown and Virginia in 1607 until 1775, the flag of England was the flag of the peoples of America. In 1775, the pine tree flag was adopted for all colony vessels, and this was the banner carried by the Continental forces in the Battle of Bunker Hill. The southern colonies from 1776 to 1777 used the snake flag. In the latter part of 1775, the Continental Congress appointed a committee to consider the question of a single flag for the 13 colonies.
Member of the Newton-Brookline Lodge of Elks, Todd Brown, continued the ceremony with further detail about the history of elk leaders, along with the history of the addition of the stars to our flag.
The first official salute to the Stars and Stripes was given on February 14, 1778, by France on the French coast when the Ranger, under command of John Paul Jones, was saluted by the French fleet. Miss Margaret Young, who cut the stars for that particular banner, was the mother of Henry Sanderson, the Grand Exalted Ruler of the Order of Elks in 1884. The Congress, on April 14, 1818, adopted a resolution that on and after July 4, 1818, the number of stripes should be 13, and that the blue field should carry one star for each of the 20 states in the Union, and that a new star should be added for each state thereafter admitted.
Exalted ruler Kristen Magni concluded the Flag Day observance ceremony with words of what the American flag means to us today.
Our flag is at once a history, a declaration, and a prophecy. It represents the American nation as it was at its birth. It speaks for what it is today, and it holds the opportunity for the future to add other stars to the glorious constellation.
Grace Hone, Newton News, Newton Center.